Hey, Tony Gadsden's here. Just give him a little extra work in. Listen, as I'm in this season of my life, still working, growing, and one of the things that I've been flooded with is this question from women about can he change? And when I used to do the Q&As on Instagram, which I'll do eventually, I used to always say, if it's been 10 years or how many ever long, no, probably not. But one thing I would always throw in there is it would have to be an act of God. So what you have to realize, if you're in a relationship and you got a lot of history, you got a lot in the relationship, you don't want to just throw it away. You don't want to throw it away and walk away. You have to realize that change is possible, but change is necessary. It's not just possible, it's necessary. Change has to be mandatory. And in order to change, especially a man, in order to change, because it's typically us men who are doing the changing. Yes, women too, but on average, it's the man either stopping the lying or stopping the cheating. Some women, have to stop lying and stuff too. But a lot of times with that, it also could play into the man. And just being a man, I've always got to the place in my life to where I want to accept responsibility for my life. Like I want to be responsible, and I don't want to look too much into what the woman got going on in the sense of me trying to just focus on that when it's time for me to change. And one of the things I realized when it come down to a man changing, a man gonna have to get new knowledge. That's the first thing, because when you look at what we were taught by our dad, if he was there, our uncle, our brothers, our cousins, and a lot of men were not raised. A lot of men just grew. And when you operate from your pain, when you operate from your trauma, when you operate from a place of ignorance, you're going to be destructive to a certain degree. So a lot of us men, we learn how to operate and how to see women, how to view women, and how to treat women based on what she can do to alleviate our pain, our trauma. And so if a man was abandoned, if a man was abused, if a man was hurting, the woman became, if you look at it, and even women who watch this, a lot of women, you become the pain reliever. You become his stripper. You become his porn star. You become his do-girl. You become his maid, his chef, his nanny, his butler, his chauffeur, his sponsor. The woman becomes a lot. The therapist, the life coach, the business consultant, the angel investor. Like almost every woman have played one of those, if not all of those roles. And so what a man has to get in order to change is new knowledge. I'll put the link in the description for coaching, but my dad, he's been coaching as well. He coaches on mymentor.life, and he says there's been a lot of couples and a lot of men booking him for sessions. And I'm like, man, that's real good. That's real good that men are. A guy reached out to me not long ago and was like, hey, man, I need to get a session for me and my wife. And it's a change happening. Guys wising up. Guys waking up and realizing, because it's a shift. So men understanding the need to change, because women about to get to a place where they be like, listen, I don't need you. I don't need you. You don't want to grow. You don't want to change. I can make my own money. It's out here to get it. Women making 6, 7, 8 figures now. It's a lot of funds for women, grants for women. So a woman really don't need a man for much, not other than a child. But a lot of women now just getting the sperm. It's going down to the sperm bank and getting inseminated. And so men starting to realize, like, oh, if I want to have me a mate, if I want to have a love of my life, be able to grow old with somebody, I'm gonna have to wake up and smell the Folgers in the morning. Folgers send me a check. And this has to be implemented, that you get new knowledge. The man got to get new knowledge. Talking with a coach on love and relationships and unlearning everything he thinks he knows and then getting new information. Another thing that a man has to do is we got to change our input. So we have to change what we listening to. If we listening to certain music, certain interviews, certain things, and it's feeding us this messaging that is making us feel like our stuff don't stink and that a woman just got to be a slave to us, that's detrimental. It's going to hurt you. You're not going to be able to grow and change. The other thing is you got to work on your thoughts. So you got to get to a place to where you really from the inside out, you start to work on yourself and you invert those thoughts. That if you have a negative thought, a controlling thought, a toxic thought, you got to replace it with the opposite, with something positive. You got to replace it and you got to be able to say, okay, that comes from this part of my childhood. That comes from this thing that happened to me in that last relationship. That comes from this. That comes from this. That is not right. That is not healthy. That viewpoint is not serving me. It's controlling me. It's trapping me. And you got to address that. And then when you address it, then you're able to start to work through it. And so get to this place. Get to this place. And when you work on those thoughts, now the next thing is your actions. And it's so hard. And I'm constantly working on this and just growing, always as a human. But one of the things is just those actions. And here's the thing, what a lot of men don't understand. Change, it does not mean being a simp. It does not mean not having thoughts, meaning having an opinion, having feelings. It does not mean you lay down and you just get ran over. It means you evaluate that which you believe, that which you want to say and do, and then you ask yourself, is this healthy? Is this healthy? And if it's healthy, then hold on to it. If you know it's not healthy, then let it go. And so when it comes to the actions, we literally have to walk ourselves through. In our mind, we got to walk ourselves through and say, okay, this is what I want to say. Have I said this or something like this in the past? Okay, how did that turn out? Was it good or was it bad? Is it the right time for that type of question or that action? And deep down, you know the answer. Now, if you honestly do not absolutely have no clue, then that's totally different. But if you know that you can guesstimate how this may play out if you do this thing or if you say this thing, then you need not do it or say it. And that new behavior, that changed behavior, that is going to show your woman, oh, he can change. And here's the thing. What's going to happen is when you change and you're consistent, see what happens a lot of times is we fake it. And then after a month, 6 months, a year, we go back. But you can't fake it. You literally got to make the change. You got to make the change. You got to embrace the challenge of really uprooting all those weeds in your life, really breaking the generational curse, really destroying that mindset that you had. And you got to embrace that, and you got to be able to talk to yourself and talk yourself off the ledge and talk yourself through that insecurity, through that controlling behavior, through that your woman got this right here on, and you got to be able to say, listen, all she want is me. She don't want another man. But that outfit, those shorts make her feel good. That right there hairstyle make her feel good. But she coming home to me. This my woman. If I want to be with her intimately, she want to be with me. But if you go to controlling, and that's what we do all the time as men, is we operate from our insecurity, and then we can crush our woman. And then she come into messages like mine, which my messages could set my wife free. You know, there's periods in my life to where my wife needed my message. And because we all human, we all gonna falter. And guess what? Woman come into a message, she read a book, she hear a video, and her eyes is open, and she like, I deserve better. Then she ready to go. And that's when, as a man, you got to grow. And one thing I tell every man that I work with, every man I coach, I say, listen, if the sun come up tomorrow, you got a chance to get her back. If the sun gonna come up tomorrow, you got a chance. Because one thing I have found about women, ooh, my goodness, y'all get some chances. If a man want to grow, if a man want to change, he could keep his woman. A guy just got to say, forget it, I ain't growing, I ain't changing, I ain't learning, I ain't doing nothing in order to lose his woman. Because the stuff I done seen women put up with, the amount of chance I done seen women give, I tell men all the time, listen, it's a chance. It's a chance. If you're willing to grow and change, it can work. It can work. Because what I've learned is most women don't want to have to start over. Don't want to have to get to know another man, all his smelling his gas and his burps and his nasty toenails, and then getting him to know her body and all her spots and all her quirks and creaks and crevices and highs and lows and her whole story. I've learned that most women don't want to start all over from square one if their man is willing to learn, to grow, and to change. So listen, do the work, do the work. And to the ladies watching this, yes, he can change. If he is willing to get new knowledge, if he's willing to listen to new stuff, if he's willing to think before he acts and speaks, and especially if he got God now, when I say it's an act of God, if he know the Lord and he got a prayer life and he listening or reading his Bible, yes, he can change. He can change, and give him that space, give him that opportunity, give him that chance before just running out and throwing the towel in. Make sure he got all the resources, all the knowledge and everything to see if that's what he wants. And if he wants that, yes, he can change. He can be renewed, and y'all can ride off into the sunset. And if you give it that time and space and he say he trying but he don't change, then okay, now you got your answer. It might take about a year or so, but you got your answer. Hey, this is Tony Gasson. Get on back to work. I'm still working through this here little cold. God bless y'all. We'll talk soon.